Hey, Bruce Springsteen, look at this box set. You get this box set here. It comes with a notebook inside. This is what your notebook look like?
It's very we're going to do this on Home Shopping Network later.
No, I mean, this is cool. As a fan, you love this stuff.
You and I are going to go, remember this skinny man.
No.
It's me.
You did look good there. Hey, you know what I was going to ask you? Look at you here. How come no one ever asked you, like, to act? Like, no one ever asked you. Do you ever act in movies?
I'm acting right now.
No. I mean, like Mick Jagger, Bowie, they all did it. Like, did everyone ever say, like, hey, could you be on the Love Boat? Come on, buddy.
I don't know. When I was young, I thought about it a little bit, and I had a few offers, but I was the same thing. It was right around this time, and I was just concerned with diluting what I was doing. I mean, really, with the exception of Frank Sinatra. There's been some good musician actors, but Frank Sinatra was probably maybe the best. You know?
You could have been the Godfather too.
Ooh,
yeah.
You know?
Freedom.
You know, it's still not too late. I don't know.
Well, look at this though. You got even like a beer stain ring or something. What is that? What was that ring?
Remember, man.
Jack Daniels? But it's cool. Look at this for fans. I got to show because I'm freaked out. I love this. There's the record in there. But then handwriting, just like
you're good.
lyrics, things. No, I'm doing it because I'm intrigued by this. Like. Over here, you got.
Those are the votes for the songs.
Is that right? You voted on what you like, but
yeah, but I didn't listen to anyone else's votes. But I
want to be democratic about it.
I allowed them to vote. They could vote.
That's a message for all you kids out there. You got to vote to make it count.
They had to vote.
You got to vote. This I love. This is like a set list or something I hear. Is that just like you jamming out? Like, look at all the Buddy Holly you got on there. Peggy Sue.
I think you got Wiggle Wobble right here by Les
Wobble?
Cooper. Wiggle Wobble is a fantastic instrumental that the Roots would kill, right?
Oh, really? You gotta look into that quick.
Wiggle Wobble, Les Cooper.
I mean, were you a big Buddy Holly Elvis guy?
Yeah, I was then. I think, you know, there was a whole lot of Buddy. I don't know if these are things I was either listening to or thinking about covering on stage, I think. So
yeah, like I know that one, And Then She Kissed Me, which I've heard on a bootleg is phenomenal.
But then you have this All for the Love of Rock and Roll by the Tough Darts, and I don't know if you remember the Tough Darts? That's pretty good.
What are the
CBGBs?
Oh, there you go.
And the thing was,
you were getting into punk at this time.
The Tough Darts was Robert Gordon's, if I'm correct, Robert Gordon's first band. Robert Gordon, in the end, was the guy who cut Fire. You know,
oh really?
It was a great, All for the Love of Rock and Roll, great rock and roll song with covering at one time.
I mean, yeah, it is all phenomenal stuff. I mean, but you show all the records. I mean, you got The Promise here, which is out, because this is 2 extra CDs of music that you didn't put on Darkness.
Right. Yeah.
So you wrote 70 songs. That's like an insane person does that. That's 7 albums. I mean, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, it was, and we didn't really know. We really didn't know how to do what we were doing. You know, it'd be like if you had to tell, 10 jokes to find one funny one.
I did that tonight. I do it every night. It's pretty insane. Yeah.
So that's exactly what's going on there.
Well, I mean, but now you listen to them and you go, God, they're all funny.
You know, well,
they're all good. They're all good songs.
Yeah, they're good. You know, but I think that at the time they were the stuff that we didn't put out. I think it wore its influences on its sleeve more. And at the time, I was very concerned with forging my own voice and having something that wasn't. I was concerned about. I didn't want to be a revivalist. I didn't want to be just sort of updating old styles. I wanted to be doing something that felt very forward. And so a lot of the music, and it's because a lot of stuff is beautiful melodies and arrangements, and the stuff held up over all these years, and it was. Really, I had a great time working on it, and a lot of it's very beautiful, you know.
Yeah.
And but it was just that, you know, we edited very tightly because at the time, really, no one knew who we were. You know, I mean, forget we'd had the one success, but then we disappeared for 3 years, and people thought we were done and finished, and so.
Is that right?
Oh yeah. You know?
But after this, I mean, you were on the cover of both Time Week and Newsweek and Time. Look at that. That doesn't happen. That was like a mistake. That was like a big thing. Look at that.
You know?
I just saw this guy 10 minutes ago. He was singing with Neil Young. It was pretty good, man.
It's incredible. You know?
Yeah, he is great. With my hair is good, yeah. I heard that you were so excited about this that you were in Memphis, you played a gig, and you tried to hop the fence in Graceland and say hi to Elvis.
Yeah, I should have brought the magazines with me, you know, but...
He didn't know you were there.
Well, at the time...
Who was this,
the
man?
funny thing is, we were just talking about Robert Gordon, and Robert Gordon cut Fire, but But Fire I originally wrote for Elvis Presley, and
is that right? The Pointer Sisters, that Fire?
That Fire was originally a song I met, and I think, and Steve was with me that night. So is he?
Steve Van Zandt is here. You want to bring him out?
Yeah.
Steve Van Zandt, everybody!
This morning, got yourself a gun. Got yourself a gun. Woke up this morning, got yourself a gun.
Come on! Come on! Look at this, buddy. What do you think of this box set? Are you freaking out about it? Is it cool? Do you remember all this?
I'm digging it, man. I don't remember any of it.
It's like the first time you saw it. Yeah.
No, all I know is, I know we call it the promise.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to call it a bunch of lost arguments.
Is that what it felt like?
Man.
Yeah.
Well, there's some good songs on there.
But you guys were close. You guys are looking. Here's you now.
Well, this is Steve's favorite stuff. This
is you guys now, and you get real close. You guys harmonizing. You better have your certs in there and your lifesavers in there. And look at you back here. Look at this. This is probably around that time.
It's incredible because
I know we were cute, weren't we?
And we
looks like you're trying to hypnotize him there.
I know. He was. And we don't actually speak besides this.
You don't even speak, no.
We don't. We
you just text message, is that right?
Going. We don't speak anymore.
but I mean, so how was it, Stevie? How was it for you after Born to Run comes out, smash hit? Now you're in a barn and you're recording 70 songs, and he goes, "I only want to use 10. I only want to use 10."
It's weird, man, because as a guitar player, that's one thing, right? You have different tastes, maybe, and I'm digging some things and thinking, but as a songwriter, I'm like, man, you're throwing that away?
Really?
You're putting that on the show? It was tough to, that kind of willpower and discipline, I didn't have, okay? He had it, but I didn't have it, man. I'm like, that's too good.
We got to use it.
Yeah, you got to use that.
Darkness, lightness.
And
we'll do both. We'll do 4 versions.
All the stuff that ended up on this thing wasn't really in Steve's wheelhouse, and it was stuff that Steve and I, when we met, I laid eyes on him, and I knew that this was a guy who drank the same Kool-Aid that I had, and that was kind of it from then on. So a lot of the things that ended up on this record were things that came out of so much of the music that we loved and that we spent time dreaming over when we were kids.
It's so much fun to listen to this now because you hear all the influences, but they're not like, it's subtle. It's actually quite subtle. At the time it didn't seem as subtle to him, but now you really gotta. You can hear little bits and pieces.
That's 30 years later, whatever.
Well, what it was is at the time, the music we were drawing from was probably only 10 or 12 years old.
Yeah.
This was 1978, and we were deeply influenced by the late 60s and mid 60s records. So it'd be like going back to the mid 90s or late 90s and drawing your influences from
like Belle Biv DeVoe songs.
So it was so it was sort of like that. So at the time, I think you felt a lot closer to those things, and as time passed. But,
now, can you explain because I always want to know the story behind Because the Night. Because the Night, Patti Smith had a hit with it.
Right.
Slowly I turned.
Steve gonna strangle him. What?
Steve, this is one Steve, although he pissed at me for giving away, but what had happened was this: Jimmy Iovine, who was then an engineer, who now is big music mogul, right, drove up to the record plant in an orange Mercedes-Benz, and no one had. It's an orange. It was an orange. Nobody had ever seen a Mercedes-Benz, but somehow or another he managed to get. He came up with the orange Mercedes, and he drove me. He drove me to Coney. And he drove me to Coney Island. And on the way, somehow he talked me into giving up the song, which I'm glad that I did, because I wasn't going to finish it, and she finished it beautifully, and it would have never seen the light of day, much less been the song that it is without her working on it. So thank you, Patty. We love you.
that's
Always
great.
nice. Thank you very much.
Well, what's cool is that you guys are going to give us a taste of that song in another